7 minutes till we open. John, I'm just going to wait for the a bit more critical mass joining the room, joining the live trading, so I can break down where we're at, what's going on. The expectations were very, very low. Very, very low. So let's run through where we are. Really wish I'd have come onto this, open the charts a little bit earlier this morning. Should have known after that big drop last night where I said it was going to run that 23 and then we had the 62 just below it, which it did at the close. So that's where we are, low to high 62. So then I drew the 15-minute internal range, that drop from yesterday. And as the first point of call, I wanted a bit of a pullback to run the 38. We didn't get it. We got like a high to high, then the news hit and we've just run straight through to what our target is, which is the halfway point of this range. So now I'm not expecting a great deal. The easy move was this morning. There is some deals going about, guys, on the with some other prop firms. Let me just see how this thing works. So I've got, does that work on there? Does that show on there? Or does that not show on there? No, it doesn't. I think it just... Basically, I've got a funded account with Top One Futures, which has got a specific set of rules. And then I've got a 300k, call it a combine, similar to a combine with Apex, but it only costs like $40 or something stupid. Like really, really cheap with Apex at the minute. But you would have to trade, you can't trade on X, you would have to trade it on TradingView, which is the previous picture that I've put on the room. It's the same as this, but it's just a little bit different. Just going to see how much the 50Ks are, because they're probably about $10 or something stupid. Oh, no. How do I do this? Three 943. Ten seconds till we open. Let's get rid of them. Oh no, don't matter what size you get, they're all the same price. So obviously a 300K makes more sense. Can't just chase these longs. Essentially, we want it to top out wherever it's going to top out here. I don't know if it's going to be on this 62, if it's going to push that 78 somewhere around, start to come down. So we can catch into the 38. What's that at? 160s there. So where's the 50 on the high to high? 170s. So that was just the minimum requirement. Expect us to do probably the same here now. Seems to be just tanking, right? So that would be the high to high 50 that it's just hit. So we just want that to fail, not climb any higher. And that would be the oh yeah, that would be the high to high 50 that gets tagged there. And not that short 50. So now the high to high 50 has been hit. So if I just show that there, that was the sort of minimum requirement. So if you think high to high there, we want to push through, then turn, because we've already set up a standard fib there. We've ran through way beyond -1. So you go that high. So that high, if it's aggressive on the longs, it'll push through. And even if not, if it's still aggressive, you know, it doesn't matter any of these levels now. The substantial. I can't short anymore because we've hit high to high 50. I can long if it goes back long, and I can short later if we set up structure. If it's long, it'll be that 78.25.375. If it's short, it'll have to be like layman's terms, it won't move exactly like that, but you get the gist. Well, it is that, you know, we longed because it bottomed out. We're shorting because it topped out. Doesn't mean you bias long or short. It just means if you've topped out, you've run all these extensions, slowing down, you've hit a major short level to come short. It'll need at a minimum requirement. So your minimum requirement would have been that high to that high. Once you know that you've come through that 23, you know you're going to run the 38, you know you're going to run, you know you're going to start from the 50. Once you've done that, you're done. Then you need to pull back to your fib. do you mean of organisations? Let's have a look. Let's see what we've got going on here. Doesn't matter. 78 would still be the target if we're long above and we short further down. Yes. Do I like it? No. There's far easier trades out there. Far easier trades out there. 137s. Probably go 149s, right? Got the full 38 there as well. It's like, do I want to short it? Not really. This trade's not as easy as the trade pre-market, not as easy as the trades I've just took, because it's in the balance. I've not had to fight anything shorting down here. I've barely had to fight any. I've not had to really fight anything going up. I've not had to fight anything coming down because we've not achieved the levels. If I short here, I've got to fight that 38. I've also got to fight that 50. It's just not worth it. So for short, it loses the fight. It goes long. Simple as that. So basically, we wait. So we've traded the really, really easy trade up. We've traded with which is unopposed. When it's unopposed, it's really easy. When you're down here and you're on a high time frame of 62 and you've held overnight, you're going long. You're going long to the midway point, conservatively 38. On this account, I took it off early. On the Apex account, I pushed it through to the midway point. On this session, for the New York session, we've took these shorts in here, as per the room, unopposed. Again, it's unopposed because once you've topped out, you've hit this range of 62%. Even on the high to high, you're not fighting anything once you've broke the 23 because you're going to run the 38, then it's likely you're going to run the 50. We've now hit that 50, so now it's a question of, is it going to pivot? Is it going to short more? Well, the worry now is It's not unopposed. It has levels to fight through. If you want a short here, you're going to have levels, even if it sets up like this. You've got to fight. You've got to fight that 62. You've got to fight levels. Mm. How do I find that? If we do get above, then we will have a trade into the 78. If we don't, then it'll likely be a trade into the 62. Not a bad move, really. I thought we'd have done more consolidation. I'm not saying that it's not large range consolidation, and we stay in this range. It's likely, but even just that high to high and that move off that 50, which it's just hit perfectly. It's 110 points currently. But it's always speculative, you know, firing along off there because you don't know if it's coming down for a full and then it's come down all the way down here. And we've seen some crazy shorts recently. The way up, as I've said earlier, it was unopposed. It was unopposed until you at least hit the 38. We've done 50, we've now done 62 on that range. And then here we've topped out because we've run a -1. So when you're shorting, so I had the high draw and the full draw on. So we know once it crosses that 23, it's highly likely to hit the 30, 38. And then it's highly likely once it's done the 38 and it doesn't hold the 38 to hit the 50. And they're just the two little trades that I posted in the room. When they're unopposed, it's super, super easy. Shorting through the bottom here, we're fighting. We're fighting long levels if it decides to short. Going up through the top of here, we're not really fighting short levels because we've done the 62 and we've done the 78. However, we are fighting ATRs across all the time frames. We will be pushing it if we start to move above there. So we've got to monitor it closely. Yes, mate. Yeah. So while we're waiting for it to do its thing, and it won't catch me out, the moves it's made can't be as volatile because we're pressing ATR. So this is why. So first of all, always start in the 4 hourly. A totally different picture. This high to this low, so that's our range. 4 hourly or daily chart, that's our range, right? We already know that that one there is a 78. 78, 78, 78, 78, it's dropped. 2 days ago, we come down to the 50, we put in some longs. Then we, last night, yesterday, we tanked, and I had a negative 23 draw, but we was obviously going to the 62s, which it hit at the close. That 50 caused that long. Because we've got such a range, that 50 caused them longs. They're huge. They might not look huge because we're in a 4 hourly daily chart, but it's 2500s, 500 points. It's huge. Then we continued shorts, obviously off short levels. So we've come down, we've hit the 62 last night. So when we've hit the 62 and we've held overnight, when I come onto the chart this morning, I zoom in, so I'm now on 5 minute. Let's see if I can put it on a 15 minute. I can put it on. It was about here this morning. It was somewhere around here. I was like, well, this is obvious. You draw your long, and it's like, okay, longs is already set up. It could run crazy. You draw your short, so your full short. You draw your little long, which starts it, and your little long is where we've started the move. Your short range there tells us, because we've held all that and we've set up long and we've broke through the top, what is the minimum number that we have to hit. Well, by the time I looked at it, we'd already hit that 23%, so we've only regressed 23% into this range. We've come down that little amount of it and we broke it. So I'm like, fucking hell, well, this is stupidly obvious. The only thing I didn't like was that thing. But all that thing did was send it long anyway. But the worst case scenario, what it would have done is come all the way down to the bottom and then gone there anyway. So that was stupidly obvious that it was going to hit the 38 there. And then I said for the day on the trade plan, we're going to hit here. The news has sent it a little bit further, so we've pushed ATRs even more. It's unopposed. Where we are now, getting rid of that, in the session we've just done, we've gone into it 62%. So then you can say, oh, I don't know, is it going to just carry on going straight up? No, obviously it's not going to carry on going straight up. It just doesn't work like that. You can draw a full one. It's come down to a 38. You could have even played off the 38. Once you broke the 23, go through to the 38. But you'd rather draw a more conservative, tighter one. So you draw that high because it was that low to that high which hit that which started the move. So that high to that high, that when it goes through the 23, you play it to the 38, quite conservative. When it bursts through the 38, you go, oh, okay. And these are the two trades. Oh, okay. We're going to run the high to high 50. And we've run the high to high 50. And the high to high 50 has now made that 110 point long. Who knows if this is its destiny? It doesn't look like it at the minute, obviously. It just looks like a technical reaction rather than a continuation of the longs. It looks more so at the minute, looking at it, that we are going to put in some shorts. But to short now, so everything I've just showed you, we are unopposed. We aren't fighting anything. They're the easy trades. Right now, if I want to short here, let's say I want to short to that 62 conservatively from here, I'd have to fight the double bottom of this 50. If we break below that and I try to go to the 62, it could hit the VWAP and then still support that 50. If I try to run it through to the negative 23, I've got a whole host of shit that it could support and sustain along. So you should be able to see from the long down here to the range I had before, I had massive gaps where I could trade into and be unopposed. Nobody was challenging the move. Yes, it could have come short a little bit, but ultimately it would have had to have gone long before it had to continue short. Up here, once we broke, a bit more tricky, but once we broke past the first point of the 23, you're not going to long off with high 23. That's the tightest point, so the height of the high, not the full range. So you're going to run the 38 and you're going to run the 50. So now it's tricky. Now it's harder. Now it's a pain in the fucking arse. What you want it to do, if anything, is break out the top and go, but you'd be worried about your ATR because we're putting so much long. So then your head starts to pivot and think, okay, maybe we do need to put in a bit more short. Maybe it wants to come down to a full level like that. And maybe that full level is down here at 108s. All of it is tricky. If we come down, that fucking 5-minute VWAP at 140. Okay. Have I got every level drawn on there? Sort of. So here, we'd have to break that and run there. And yeah, you'd still be fighting the 5-minute. Well, then also, are we just holding this range? It's not as easy, so the market's got to make it dumb obvious to us. No, bell is rumbling. Did you? Yeah, good. Good. It's you know, it's only easy for me to see that because I've been doing it a long time. It wasn't always easy to see that. I was literally talking to Dean, one of my mates, earlier. We've been in this for years together, and we used to voice note each other years ago, and we didn't know where the market was going. We had a strategy, and it kind of worked, and we got paid a little bit, but we didn't know. We didn't know. We couldn't read like the algorithm. The only time I'll ever lose is really in situations like this, when it's like, okay, I'm not sure, I'm probably a 70-30, but the 30% will win. I'm 70% shorts now, 30% longs, because I think more shorts need to be put in. But if the 30% wins, I take a loss. Earlier on today, we was fucking longing. I said 198s on the trade plan. The shorts in here, it just had to happen. It was like a guarantee that it had to happen. Now, again, sound like a broken record, but it's tricky because here's a scenario, and we've all seen this scenario before, stays in this range. That's one scenario. Here's another scenario. And there's a fucking other scenario. I don't want all of those scenarios. I want it to be more clear. And the gap, it's usually based on the gap. So if you go back to here, on the way up, because of that range, from that 23, 2500s to 25124, I had a 124 point gap. 124 point gap. Wait, oh yeah, fucking hell, this is obviously going long. Unopposed. That level's clearly not challenging it. How can I play that here? Well, if we get below this 50 and we come down to, let's say here, or even VWAP, VWAP could hold and it could take a very sharp long, just wick here, body holds the 50 and it could strongly go long. So, okay, so how do you prove that it's short? Well, for shorts to prove to me that they're going to short, I would need it to hold in there for a period of time. It's not going to do that though, is it? Because my gap here is 35s to 60s. So much more difficult. But which way do I think it's going to go? I think there's probably a little bit more shorts to put in. We've only tagged that 50 once, so I do think we come down to 170s at least again, because I think it needs to hit it again. Even if that's the point of pivoting long, I think it needs to hit it again, because we only tagged it there. So I expected it. I didn't even expect it to move like that. I'm gonna take a speculative one into there because I just think of it again. Limit sell 10. See if it holds. What's that one there? Oh yeah, that's that. Yeah. Jamie, stay out of this one, mate. I can see you've just joined. It's a speculative one. What did I say? What did I say it could do? If it comes, but I expected it to hit the 50. Probably going to be range bound rather than push that whole thing up. It's done exactly what I said it. I really didn't want it to do. Five, one. The easy ones were done. Getting out of that. Does it come down now? I'm getting out of that. Order filled. I'm gonna reverse it. So it's crazy. Short on the 78. Yeah. Order filled. That's the original. Or is it going to stay range bound? No idea. I need a dead cert. Tasos's dead cert because this is the only one I've traded on. I'm not taking this on any of my other accounts. Mm. 155, 6, 3 grand. Absolutely wild that this is pushing longs with that ATR. Okay, just need to prove that it's not going to hold any sort of 62. What do you mean error loading statistics? Always a fucking problem with this fucking top step shit at the minute. What's that? Mate, pushing 50 on the friggin' ATR. It's like, do I really want to belong in that? Not really. Be a bit more, probably. Hmm. It's that there. I'm worried about getting in the longs. It's initial balance. Negative 23 done. I think I'm going to have to go for it, guys. I'd be very surprised if it went straight there, and the reason being is because of that number down there. It's indicating some short. Levels wise, like, should be fine. ATR wise, it's due some short. Be a last ditch push. Take 400 off there. Shit, I've done it again. Oh, you fucking Mongol. Too late. You obviously took that one, John. Anybody else risk that, or was I in that on my own? Or John with John? It was a risky one, mate. It was a risky one. I didn't take it on any of the new accounts. I only took it on these combines. Same as the previous one. Football tonight. Well, it's 75s. Okay. So we have completed that negative 23. Gone through the 78. You see how so I'm down on these accounts, up on the others, but down on these accounts. Could you see how I got impatient and just tried to retest that 50 because I was favouring shorts, and I just thought, well, we'll have to retest it because we've only tagged it, but it held, came close, but it held, and absolutely rallied to TP. One silly decision was that I sod it. They're only combines anyway. They're not. It's not an express account. They're not funded accounts. It doesn't matter. That one decision is why I'm down today, and I ain't gonna get it back here because yeah, even though I traded the easy trades, it's just yeah, there's nothing going to be easy here. It's going to take too much time to set up short. We're going to run into past the perfect trading time, and we have just ridiculously gone long, pushed all our ATRs. So now I expect it to fully consolidate. That's done. So rather than try and force anything, call it a day, guys. And I'll see you tomorrow. Have a good one.